أشرقت نفسي بنور من فؤادي حينما رددت يا رب العباد.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. So it says من هذا, who is this? So man is used for interrogation, asking about the identity of someone who is intelligent. Intelligence in the Arabic language means either from mankind, jinn kind, or the angels, and obviously Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So who is this? Now in Arabic, when we say man hadha, who is this, it's actually quite rude if you're speaking about a man or somebody who's older than you. So if you're asking about a boy, a small boy, and you're asking man hadha, that's fine. But with somebody who's older than you, you wouldn't ask saying man hadha. You'd probably say man al-rajul, or something along those lines. So here it says man hadha, who is this? Hadha tabibun, this is a doctor. Man hadha, hadha waladun, this is a boy. Man hadha, hadha talibun, who is this? This is a student. Ahadha waladun? La, hadha rajulun. Is this a boy? No, this is a man. Now a few things here. We notice here, when we're asking about who the person is, we use man for the intelligent. However, we can also use the ism ma istifham as well. So we could say ma hadha, what is this? Or more accurately, what is he? The difference being, when we use ma, we're not asking about the person himself, who he is. We're asking about what does he do? What is his profession? So if I spoke regarding somebody and asked ma hadha, a possible response could be hadha mudarris or hadha tabib, where it's indicating the occupation of the person. We notice here it says talibun. So I could ask about a boy and say ma hadha, what is he? And the response would be hadha talibun. But here it's man hadha, who is this? And we have the same response, hadha talibun. Now there's a subtle difference between those two meanings. In this case, when we ask about who he is, we are identifying from which genus he belongs to. So he belongs to the genus of students. He's one of them. But when we say ma hadha, we're identifying the person's attributes, or from another perspective, his occupation, his line of work, or if he's a student. So there's a subtle difference there between ma hadha and man hadha. And I have an article on this to clarify this point, and I will link it up inshallah in the forums. So talib comes from a verb talaba, meaning to seek. So a seeker, a talib, it's a ism fa'il. And here la hadha rajulun, the word rajul is a ismu jamid. But you notice something, we have actually other words that have the same base letters. The one that is almost identical, in fact it's written the same way, but the difference is obviously the harakat, is rijl. Rijlun, would say, just with the tanween, which means a leg or a foot. So a question is, and something very interesting in the Arabic language, is that we have the word for man and foot that are derived from the same three-letter root. But we have other words for male, and the other common one is dhakar. Now, rajul is a specific type of man. It's not any type of man. It doesn't mean the gender of masculinity. It's talking more about the qualities that a man should have, a real man. And some of these qualities are generosity, not relying on others, never to ask others when one is in need, to prefer others over themselves. These are all part of being a rajul. And even women can be called rajul. So it's somebody that can stand on their own 2 feet. And that's where foot comes in. Okay, let's continue on. Okay, now we have ما هذا. What is this? هذا مسجد. من هذا؟ هذا تاجر. Who is this? This is a merchant. Tajir. Somebody who buys and sells. And the act of buying and selling is called tijara. And we get the verb tajara, to trade. And this is the ism fa'il of that. One who trades. Okay, next is هذا كلب. This is a dog, a male dog. And with the following animals, you make it feminine by adding the ta marbuta. We'll speak about this later on, inshallah. So this is a male dog. أهذا كلب? Is this a male dog? لا. هذا قط. No, this is a male cat. And the female cat would be قطة with a ta marbuta. Let's continue on. هذا حمار. This is a donkey. Just notice something about all these sentences. What they're indicating are entities. Either animals, people, or objects. أهذا حمار? Is this a donkey? لا. هذا حصان. No. This is a horse. Actually a male horse. So hisan is used for a male horse. We also have other words for horse. Like for example, faras. Let me just write this. Faras is a female horse. So it's used the opposite to hisan. But we also have a generic name for horses in general, which is khayl. Or al-khayl, which is the alif lam, which indicates the genus. So al-khayl, horses. Just be like that. وَمَا هَذَا? And what is this? So the wow here joins the previous sentence. What is this? هَذَا جَمَلٌ. This is a camel. Now, what's also interesting about this word, jamal, is we have this sifa. It's a sifa, but it comes from the same root, jamil. And Allah is described as jamil. Inna Allah jamil yuhibbul jamal. Allah has this attribute of being jamil, and He loves jamal, which is actually beauty or goodness. Jamil actually means beauty in good actions, moral behavior, to be complete or perfect. So when you're describing something as jamil, you're indicating its beauty. And it's usually used mostly for internal beauty. But what happens is, when the internal is beautiful, the outward is beautiful as well. Now the question is, why is jamal from the same root? Actually, the Arabs' most prized possessions, the most sought after, were camels. And they are able to survive the harsh conditions that other animals are not able to. So they had a lot of benefits for the Arabs. And for this reason, they were called jamal. So they were complete and perfect in that they were the most beneficial animal. Another word we get from this root is jumla. Like a jumla ismiya or a jumla fi'liya. Now, why is jumla from this root? It's because a jumla is something that's complete, perfect. It doesn't require other words to complete the sentence. It's complete. And for this reason, and that's why it's actually derived from this root. Now in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, He's commanding the Prophet, He says, فَاصْبِرْ صَبَرًا جَمِيلًا. So therefore, be patient in a beautiful and perfect manner. Now I want to emphasize these roots, because these roots actually helps you memorize words. If you know a root and you know the main meaning of that particular root, then memorizing other words from that root will be easier because you'll find that link. Okay, let's continue on. So we have ما هذا هذا ديك. What is this? This is a rooster. So the male. And we have the female, which is دجاجة, but we're not covering that at the moment. من هذا هذا مدرس. This is a teacher. مدرس. This is a derived noun. اسم مشتق, as we spoke about. Most of the isms are mushtaq, are derived. It's derived from darasa, to study. The mudarris is the one who teaches. This is ism fa'il, from darasa yudarrisu. It's very important when you're teaching these books to know every single derived noun and from which root it's from which bab. In this case it's from fa'ala yufa''ilu, taf'il, darasa yudarrisu, tadris, mudarris, mudarras. So it's very important to know this. I don't advise anybody to start teaching these books until they can tell me where every single word is derived from, the ones that are derived. If you don't know, then I don't believe that you can teach these books. Okay, let's continue on. أهذا قميص? Is this a shirt? لا, هذا منديل. So mindil is an object. It's actually one of the patterns of the ism mubalagha, the noun denoting hyperbole. It comes from a root and the mastar an-nadl, which means transfer and removal. So it's the main action that the root comes from. And mindil actually is the object used to transfer and remove. And obviously what we're transferring and removing is filth. So that completes lesson 1. وصلى الله سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.
ضاقت نفسي بنور من فؤادي حينما رددت يا رب العباد.